Hey there everyone, Luke here, and yeah, I've got nothing for the intro this week. We're just going to dive right into Witch Watch chapter 233, titled Bone Crisis Part 2. Now, how long this arc is actually going to go on for, that's anyone's guess. But yeah, it's been pretty much confirmed that this is the first major arc of the of Part 3, and yeah, really exciting stuff. Really strong start to Part 3. So let's just dive right into it. So it starts off from the ending of the last chapter, where we have like, okay, the ritual has gone off. They each piece of the bone of Juru has been handed out to all the warlocks, and they're like, right, I'm gonna go and rest. We're gonna have free time right now. Are we gonna have drinks and everything? And yeah, are we going? We're just gonna explore, hang out, and have a really good time. But we have Kikuyo and Hibana looking at each other, like Kikuyo's like really like just sweating profusely, like it took a lot of energy, it took quite a beating from this ritual, and Hibana's really concerned about him, but he's like just there like, look, don't worry about me, I'm fine, don't do anything. I've been preparing for my death for a long time, so I guarantee that this is something that I'm just gonna be getting used to, and getting used to this being my life. I'm eventually gonna die, and I'm just gonna enjoy the time I have left. Now, Hibane says like, oh, but if I swallow the piece of my bone that I actually have, and this is where Kikuyo's like just cutting off, like, don't say any ideas. Our goal is a true resurrection for Hifista, not an incomplete one with her only possessing your body, so don't do anything crazy. So, see, this is kind of like where I'm getting like a little bit of inconsistent vibes with him. Like, is he on their side? Has he turned traitor? Has he really, or is he doing like the double cross? It's just for that one line, or is he like keeping up the act here to kind of maintain appearances? Like, oh no, I haven't betrayed you guys because of what Shikimi did in the last shed when he was suspected of. Like, is he just doing this to kind of like pull the rug under them, or is he generally being like, I'm on their side and I'm on these guys' side as well? Like, there's just so many layers that this can go with Kikuyo. But anyway, we cut back over to Mori and Nico, where Mori's there like, oh, I'm gonna go after Shikimi. Nico, you stay with me. Pay close attention to your alert. If you sense a warlock approaching, message me and use movability. Message first, spell second. You can't send a message in the post for movement. And Nico's like, okay, I've got it, everything. But this is where she wants to get like really serious with him. Like, and okay, Nico, I understand that you have feelings for Murray and you're kind of like boyfriend and girlfriend at this point, but can you leave this until after the mission? And Murray's there being like, yeah, I know what you're going to say, Nico, but now's not the time to bring this up. We've literally got a mission for the fate of the world going on here. So let's just put our feelings aside. Let's focus on the mission at hand. And once all that is done, then we can discuss these matters going on. But they have very different opinions. Well, Murray's there like, okay, yeah, I guess after all this is said and done, we can start going out and everything. But considering Nico has always thought of Murray as like her boyfriend, and she's probably thought like, yeah, most of these like shenanigans that we've gone through, like, yeah, I classify them as those going on dates. So now we can move up from dating to actually getting married here. So yeah, Murray's like one step behind Nico here. Nico really wants to like, I just want to marry Murray right now. Just want to skip the boyfriend, skip the date. We're just going straight to marriage so that I can have his children as well. So yeah, and Murray is probably not even thinking about that. Like, can you imagine if when that actually happens, like Nico's coming like, hey, let's get married. Murray would be like, oh, he'd be like snowing at everything and be like, okay, but then off screen he'd be like, oh my gosh, she's asked me to marry her, she's asked me to marry her, she's asked me to marry her. Like that, I could actually see that being like a funny scene that they go through. So anyway, we have Murray going through all the ship parts before he's able to track down Shikimiya and say you're the root of all of this, like you're the big bad that we're gonna have to deal with here. Hitofista may be a legendary warlock, but she passed centuries ago, so you've got to let this go, man. This is what's going on in, like Murray said, like, Shikimi, you've got to let this go, man. She's passed centuries, just let her spirit rest in peace. Don't try to resurrect her and start all this nonsense all over again. Don't drag her back into life for your personal ambition. And as he activates the spell, we come over to Kuria's suite, where it's just after like the spell has gone on, like the senses have gone on, like the warlocks are coming, as Nemu is sitting there and sensing like, oh, they're getting close, but Miryu's like, oh no, that's probably Mr. Kikurio, like it's obvious that, the warlock says it's going off, but it's obvious like it's the guy that we actually do want to see, and where we agreed to meet here as part of the plan. And as he approaches, like Kikurio's just there like, before he literally just like passes into Miryu's hands, as him and Banner like asking like, "What's wrong? You're practically cleaning over here. So do you need assistance? Do you need a doctor or anything?" And Kikurio's there just like, don't worry yourselves over me, as Miryu pretty much suspected like it was transporting us, wasn't it? Like this was the thing that really knocked you out here. But as Kikurio is saying this, he hands over his part of the bone to Miryu, who puts it in the canister as the plan. So first part of the plan for them has gone off without a hitch. They've got one piece of the bone in their possession. But again, like I've been saying before, this could very well, again, be just like a double cross with Kikurio. We just don't know half the time what this guy is actually thinking. So after Kikurio hands over his piece of the bone to the group, he just completely passes out on the bed on the bed in his room, as he says, "Oh yeah, the other warlocks, they should be all scattered around the ship everywhere, and they should have their own piece of the bone on them at this point." Miryu does try to give Kikurio his viability, like his energy, and sharing it with him, like to get him back up to speed. But Kikurio's like, "Don't bother. You're young yet. You shouldn't waste your energy on the old. Like it's somehow the normal thing to do." And this might actually have the opposite effect, because if you remember, the reason that Miryu's father looks as old as he does is because of what Miryu's ability does do to him. Like he takes energy from the like a vampire, but at the same time it drains, like makes them look older. Like this could the way it's in play here, it could I think Kikurio's saying like, look, this could potentially have the opposite effect on you. Like you could become old and decrepit like your father. That's the vibe I'm getting at here from what Kikurio said, and from what we've established with Miryu's powers here. Like it could actually have a negative effect on him as well. So Kikurio's there like, "Oh, keep your energy and use it wisely." But as Miryu tries to protest, Kikurio carries on and says, "A vampire who gives energy instead of taking it, you are a kind one. No, it's not only you, it's all of you are kind and strong. You didn't hesitate to come to protect others. I wish I'd met you when I was younger. Now I'm merely reaping the rewards of the life I've lived. So you can leave me." Like he's pretty much resigning himself to die at this point. Like, look, I've caused enough damage for you guys. You guys are strong. You're a good group. I wish, and yeah, it's a kind of a shame that it did actually have to come to this. The fact that they had to be on opposite sides, because I could have seen like Kikurio like gelling with the gang if he was much younger, and if none of this was happening. Like kind of same thing with Dorey as well. If Dorey wasn't on the opposite side, then none of this would be happening. He would definitely have fitted well within the group of characters, which makes a shame like we didn't actually get more of Dorey interacting with the group, because it would have been even more shocking. It would have been kind of like I'm trying to think of the best way to describe this. It would have kind of like when it what with what happened in part one. Trying to remember her name. The Earth Witch. One moment, guys. All right, sorry about the cutaway then, but yeah, as I was saying, it would have been if Dorey was interacting more with the group, but it was like throughout the whole of part two, like particularly when Charmi was first introduced and she was introduced along with Dorey, and then it turned out like Dorey was a traitor. It would have been like with Komugi, only on a much more grander scale, because Komugi, while she was introduced in this series before becoming a traitor, she wasn't really as big of an integral part as she could have been, and it would have made it even more shocking if Komugi was in more chapters before it was actually feel like, oh, she returned traitor. But yeah, so yeah, if Dorey was in more chapters as well, I mean, he was relevant in a few more chapters than Komugi before he turned traitor, but yeah, like what I'm saying is that if he was like present throughout the whole of the Charmy chapters, that would have made it even more impactful. But yeah, going back to the chapter, it's like Kokoryu is resigning himself to his fate at this point, to kind of relieve himself of any of the stress and any of the hassle and any of the pain that he's caused everyone. And as he's going on like this, Mirio asks Nemu, and she's saying, yeah, I'm looking, the closest signal I'm getting is moving towards the casino, so that's where their next destination goes. And but before they go, Kokoryu hands them a sticker, which is take one gate with you just in case it connects to this room, considering so he's basically giving them an escape rope from Pokemon, like, hey, take this, it'll get you back to the room, instant teleportation. And as Mirio thanks him, he reminds him that it's because of you that we managed to make a surprise attack possible. Once everything is over, we'll remove your warlock powers so you can actually live a decent life, or as much as you can with the time you have left. And this Kokoryu decides, like, okay, that's the best situation I can get out of all of this. I gladly accept it. And yeah, this is where Mira's like, okay, this is Team Nemo, we're moving towards the casino, and we get relays from every one of the groups. So we have Khan with Momo, and they're picking up signals and they're heading to the bar. So Nemo's team is headed to the casino, Khan's team is headed to the bar, and Keigo's team haven't picked up any Warlock signal here. So his team, which consists of him and Charmi, are going to change locations to do another search. Now, this is kind of interesting because of something that happens later on the fact that Charmi is not being able to pick up a signal whatsoever. That's something we're going to have to discuss that when we get further into the chapter. So after relaying their situation, Charmi says to Keigo, like, oh, it feels like all the Warlocks are on the upper deck, and as they decide to go this way, he mentions that Nemu team said that they're going to the casino, so we could go and back them up. But this is where Charmi's saying, like, what wasn't the reason we split up into teams and went to different spots was so that we could go after different warlords, not just be like, okay, they're heading there, we're gonna head there. It makes no sense. But as Keigo was saying that, like, oh right, yeah, you have a good point, Charmi just instantly recognizes, like, you've got something going on with Nemo here, you're worried about her, so begs the question, why didn't you just partner up with her in the first place then? You would have been able to work so well together. And Keigo just turns Tsundere like, no, I don't know, I'm not worried about them. I'm like, no, it's nothing like that. But anyway, let's just check out the hallway. It should be straight shot down here from the corridors, and I wish we could use movability to stay invisible the whole time, but we've got to use it sparingly. So we're going plain view. I guess it'll be okay as long as you pay close attention to your alerts. And Charmy's there, okay, yeah, I've got it, I've got all this settled down. And as they're running and everything, like, yeah, Charmy doesn't feel any signal, and this is where she's getting like a bit confused right now. Yeah, nobody's around here. Like, not seeing anything right now. So we're at the restaurant. We're at the restaurant area. It's a dead end. So why don't we try going up the stairs? And immediately, the second that they say this, like there's nobody here. Like there's no signal going off. Dorey walks into the room. So yeah, this is something that is really interesting. Like even Keigo is like shocked and stunned by this. Like, wait, what the hell is going on here? Like, why couldn't we sense Dorey? Like, wasn't he established to be one of the warlocks? Like, now they did say that he's potentially a familiar in the previous chapters when he was introduced to be working with the warlocks. Although I have a very interesting idea of what he actually could be, which we'll get into as we go through. Some people say like, oh, it's his manager that's the warlock. But again, that would make no. I don't consider that because why? Because the whole point of that broadcast was that everyone was good. The Shikimi and the warlocks were announced like were the warlocks ever. They wanted as much attention on them. So why wouldn't they get the manager to be? I guess they got. I can understand why they got Dorey to like get everyone attention, but like. They could have just been like, Dorey gets everyone on the live stream, and then the manager announces the broadcast, and then the manager is part of the team as the broadcast is being announced. That's kind of like what I would have done if I was part of it. Like, okay, Dorey, you get everyone watching as closely as possible, and then we all announce all 7 of us. But the fact that they had Dorey there, like, again, it makes me suspicious of because the whole. From what I gather from the whole idea about warlocks is that they're witches that have gone to the dark side. The dark side of the force, if you will. Now, I am going somewhere with that the fact that I mentioned that, so bear with me. But yeah, Keigo is just there like, oh shit, what is it? Like, using the spell and everything. And yeah, even Charmi is a bit like, okay, what the hell was going on there? Why is this on? And as Dorey is looking around, it's like, is somebody there? They're legitimately panicking here as they're like, did he see us? Did he see us? Like, no, he probably just dismissed it as part of his imagination. But yeah, at this point, they better bugger off right now. So as Keigo and Charmi are just like stunned by what Dorey is saying, they're like, okay, let's hide in the back. We just need to wait for him to wander off somewhere. Let's hope he hasn't seen us. But no, he has legitimately sensed that, okay, yeah, there is someone there. I've got to check this out in case it's any one of the group here. And yeah, I am glad that we're actually getting the Charmi versus Dorey thing first, because again, like I said, this makes the most sense that it would be them that would be confronting each other. That made perfect sense to me. But yeah, so as they're running away in the restaurant, kind of giving me like very Jurassic Park vibes here, and especially what happens with Dorey. Like you see him just like transforming into this like monstrous form before it's revealed that. It looks very similar to like Velociraptor reptile monster thing. Like this is very different from any transformation we've seen so far in the series. Like this is primal like warlock. Now that's the reason why I'm bringing this up. But yeah, as Dorey transforms into like creepy like MacGyver monster creature thing, we see just the aura emanating off him. Like he gives like a proper terrifying aura that even Keigo has wolf inside of him, and the fact that even he's getting like terrified of Dorey in the state just shows how, okay, you do not want to mess with Dorey when he's in the state. And yeah, this is where Keigo's just like questioning everything about Dorey, like, what the hell is this guy? Like, why is he turned into this? Like, is it a spell he's under? This is bad. If we can't get out of here, if he's hanging around him, if he's between us and the only exit, and movement is only going to last for a total of 12 minutes. If it wears off, like, we are actually, like, dead. We are screwed at this point. And this is where the chapter ends. So, yeah, it's pretty much just going to be a case of, like, okay, yeah, no, they are not getting out of this. They're going to have to fight Dorey 100%, like, full-on fights. Like, Charmy's going to have to use Slump, Keigo's going to have to use Wolf, probably to get past. Slump and Wolf together are probably just going to have to be the ones to actually give them a chance to get past Dorey in this state. Now, with Dorey's transformation, this is where I'm actually going to go off on a theory. And I do believe that Dorey is a warlock. Like that's pretty that's something that I've said, and he's always been a warlock. I like to think that I did go off on the idea that Dorey was one of the first that they approached, and they told him he would defeat his like Juru's true name to awaken his warlock powers. But I think now looking at this chapter, that was something that I feel like was better. I feel like Dorey always had his warlock powers. He always had it. He always had it activated. It was never a case of like they needed to bring it out. I feel like what I'm getting at here is that Dorey is what we would call a primal warlock, like just a warlock always constantly in its state, never been a witch, never had like, oh, a witch that's gone to the dark. No, he's always been a warlock from the moment he was born, born from two other warlocks. Kind of like it was kind of like what was going off with the Dark Side of the Force, because in the extended universe of Star Wars now, I know Disney doesn't consider this canon, but I'm going with it. Just roll with it. Like, oh, it's kind of like the evil cycle in a real. But I digress. Okay, so with the extended universe in Star Wars, you have one Sith, two Sith. They marry together. They birth a pure Sith. I reckon this is something that's happened. This is something similar that's happened with Dorey. A warlock and a warlock have met together. They've produced a kid. That kid has become Dorey, and in that state, that's awakened, like I'm saying, a primal warlock, someone who doesn't have the case of like, oh, they are which they had magic power, and then they got corrupted with the black magic, which probably helps explain a new level of lore here of like, because from what I can understand from the series, but I don't know if this was like clarified, but the way the warlock sensor goes off is because a witch can detect like, oh, a warlock that was turned to a warlock from being witch. That's what I get here. But like, what if a warlock was just purely a warlock, like born from two warlocks that were already warlocks? Would that be a case of like, oh, it can't be said because like it's just in a pure primal state that it becomes too dense to be sensed? That's the kind of the idea I'm going off here. I know it's a little bit flawed, unless maybe we're just going off of the idea that yeah, Dorey is just a familiar that's been created, and is a different kind of familiar from like Ban and all the others. This is. Well, again, it's kind of an interesting idea of like, because you have witches that get together and have witches, so why not two warlocks get together and have a warlock? Like, what would that produce? So yeah, I'm going for now until we get some more clarification on what Dorey actually is, that he's a primal warlock. He was born from two warlocks that came together, and his warlock energy is so dense that it can't be detected by the warlock sensor. That's my idea that I'm going off here until it's said otherwise. But like I said, now how the fight's going to go, obviously we're going to have to bring out Wolf and Slump for this, because yeah, Keigo and Charmi on their own wouldn't have a chance against Dorey in this state. So yeah, this is going to be a proper balls out. I'm expecting a proper balls out 2 to 3 chapter fight between Dorey, Charmi, and Keigo, using all their stops to get it and to find out more about what Dorey actually is. But anyway, guys, what did you think of this chapter? Let me know. Like, subscribe, comment, all that jazz. And this will be Lasherluke signing off. Later, guys.